Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the virtual college exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. Just want to thank you for joining us this afternoon and have a couple quick housekeeping announcements before we get started. So, how do you ask questions? You can use the Q&A button that's on your screen, and you can type questions to our presenter at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so our presenter cannot see or hear you. But again, you do have access to that Q&A button there. You can also sign up for more sessions at CACRAO.org. That's CACRAO.org. And this is one of many presentations being offered throughout this week. So you can sign up for additional ones this week and next week. And this recording will be available within about a week on that same website, CACRAO.org, CACRAO.org. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our presenter.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us and joining me, I guess I should say. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedules to join me here live today and also to check out this recording at a later date. My name is Jared Smith. I'm the Director of Admissions, and I'm particularly excited to talk with you about Bridgewater because Bridgewater, over the past 17 years that I've been affiliated with the school, has seen a lot of growth. And we're going to talk about growth in terms of student enrollment. We're going to talk about growth in terms of academic programs. We're going to talk about growth in a building physical plant complex as well. But first, I must say, I don't envy the position you're in. Not only are you trying to conduct a college search, which in its own right is confusing and cumbersome and pressure. There's a lot of pressure associated with that. You're trying to do this in the midst of a pandemic and of a worldwide pandemic. So it has not only altered your plans, I'm sure, to find the right fit of a college for you, it's also changed our plans, my team's plans to help you find that right fit. So I do appreciate you taking time here today to join me and to listen and hear a little bit more about Bridgewater. So as a whole, Bridgewater, if you were to sort of synopsis it in just a brief statement, is a small private liberal arts school. Small, our undergraduate enrollment is somewhere around in between 15 and 1,600 students. And if you remember, I said that Bridgewater's had some enrollment growth over the past 17 years. When I was a freshman in the fall of 1999, yes, I realize for some of you watching this, you were born that year or not born yet that year. The enrollment was about 11 to 1,200 students. So we have seen a growth of somewhere between 400, 500, 600 students in that time frame. You can see too that we now have some graduate programs or graduate students with us, and we'll talk about our specific grad school programs that we've had. I've added here recently. But with an enrollment, undergraduate enrollment of, we'll just say 1,500 for keeping things simple, it means your average class size for students is 21. We have a 14-to-1 professor or student to professor ratio. So what do those numbers really mean? Well, it means that you're going to get a personalized education. You're going to be part of our community. You're going to be seen and known across campus as your first name and last name, or nickname if you have one. What you're not going to be known as is your student ID number running through a system. That just doesn't happen here on campus with us. You're going to work with professors every day in your classroom. Over 85% of our faculty have their tenured degree, or excuse me, have a PhD in the topic that they're teaching. So they're the real professionals that you're going to be working with every day in class. There's no graduate assistants. We have no teaching assistants in classes. You have a professor in front of you working with you every day. We don't have professors locked away in ivory towers doing research or literature studies. Yes, it's part of their requirements to be a professor at Bridgewater, but their first priority is to be a professor and to teach. They come to Bridgewater because they want to teach and work with undergrad students. That's number one priority for us. Academics, obviously higher education, the first thing most people think of is majors and minors in academic programs. Excuse me. We have over 30 majors, 14 or 15 different minors, which you see there listed on the screen, are the top 5 most popular programs. So business admin, number 1, biology, number 2, health and exercise science, 3, Psychology 4, and then Liberal Studies 5. Our Liberal Studies is our teacher education program, our elementary education program, more specifically. So no school in the state of Virginia can offer an education major or a minor. So you'll have a specific major that you choose from, and then you go through the teaching certification program. Virginia has a reciprocity with 45 states. So that means their teaching licensure that you receive through the state of Virginia is good just about anywhere in the US that you want to go to. We have 4 graduate programs. All of those programs have a 2-year postgraduate component. So someone could have earned their bachelor's degree at another institution and then wants to come to Bridgewater to do a 2-year master's program. Or they also have a dual enrollment component to it. So you would do 3 years undergraduate and then 2 years dual enrollment of undergrad, graduate, and graduate work. So in 5 years, you'll have received a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. We're going to look to add more graduate school programs in the coming years. We're not going to add an MBA though. The world of higher ed doesn't need another MBA program. What we're going to be adding are programs that are meaningful and impactful for our undergraduate students. So what are things that we are currently doing well at our undergraduate level that there's a market for and a market need for a master's degree or master's program in? So for example, athletic training. For a number of years, we had 100% placement rate of our undergraduate athletic trainers into either the career field or grad school, and had a 99% pass rate for the national certification on athletic training. Well, that same association came out 5 years ago and said by the year 2022, to be a nationally certified athletic trainer, you're going to have a master's degree. So that meant Bridgewater and other schools had to do one of 2 things. They either had to offer the master's program, or more than likely, they had to drastically alter their undergraduate program. So for us, it made sense to make that our first graduate school program. So MSAT was our first grad program. It's been established now for 4 years. The following year, we did a digital media strategies. That program is really unique in the sense that it's really 4 programs combined. So obviously it is an art program, has a communication studies program, has a business component to it, and a psychology component to it. So it's the design of a multimedia platform. It is the ability to write. It is the ability to know the business side of things. And then the psychology component of it is how do you work with people? How do you develop those soft skills to be able to run a team effectively? This summer, we just launched 2 new grad school programs. The final 2 there on the list, the human resource management and then the master's of psychology, mental health professions. Last March 2020, before the world shut down, basically, we had broken or did a ribbon cutting ceremony on the John Kenney for Learning Commons. And what this is our library, and it's a library enhanced. So for over 60 years, we had a library that had traditional library services, and it looked like a 60-year-old library. Then the college decided this was going to be our project for the foreseeable future. And through 4 years, we did 2 years of research and development, and it was research and development of every aspect of the building, from what programs are being offered at other places on campus that could be incorporated into a learning commons. What do other learning commons or modern libraries across the country look like and feel? So we went literally all across the country from Denver to Baltimore, looking at public universities, private universities, public municipalities, and what do those modern libraries look like and feel like? So after 2 years of research and development, 2 years of construction and fundraising, $13 million, they came up with this design. And this is the John Kenney for Learning Commons. And it is a one-stop shop for a student and their academic needs. So it has all the traditional library services you can think of, plus some enhancements. So our career services is in this building. There's a technology support, and not a technology support like, oh, the printer's out of paper or it needs ink, but I'm working on this project. Let's say it's a PowerPoint, and I can't get this slide formatted right. Can you help me with that? It has all of our academic tutors and peer coaches as well. So we offer free tutoring for every student in every class. And then peer coaches are upperclassmen that meet with students to help them get organized for the semester. So they'll sit down at the beginning of the semester with your syllabi and help you get organized and come up with a game plan, and then touch points with you throughout the semester as well to ensure that you're maintaining that level of organization. It's about you. It's the organization that you need. Our writing center is in this building, so you can walk in with a paper at any stage and get help with it. And then a multimedia presentation and production rooms as well. So Bridgewater is on a semester schedule. So we are right now halfway through our fall semester, and then students will leave campus. Finals end December 12th this year. They'll come back for spring semester, which is the first week in, starts the first week in January, and then graduation is the first weekend in May. So then for the remaining 3 weeks of May, we have what we call as May term, and it is a time that students will take one course and get 3 credits for the course, just like they would in the fall or spring semester. During this time, you can take a class that meets here on campus and does traditional sort of coursework. So when I was a student, I took a course called Analytical Geometry. So we met for 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, and that was my course. But then you can take courses that meet on campus, then take like exploratory field trips. So we used to offer a course that was called International Foods, and they ate their way through the valley at different authentic restaurants, which was a really neat experience. Then you have an opportunity to do an immersion field experience. So you could do, you can see here, this picture is one of our teaching education students in classroom. So if you wanted to do a field experience, a practicum, you could do that. You can see also in the student that on the slide, the gentleman here is doing an internship. So you have an opportunity to do a 4-credit internship, either here in your local area of the college or in your own hometown sort of area. But then what the program really offers is this travel courses. And it's a unique opportunity that students can study abroad for 3 weeks with 30 to 40 other Bridgewater students and Bridgewater faculty. And it's an immersion experience into that. So the picture that's displayed here on the screen is Dr. Jamie Free's class, and it is the cultures of South Africa. So they go do all the touristy things, go to safari, and you see here they're petting cheetahs, and they do bungee jumping off of the tallest bridge in the world. But then they also go to the shanty towns. Dr. Free spent 2 years living and teaching in South Africa. So, and he's written a book about it. So he has some insider knowledge there that sort of makes him an expert into the South Africa culture. So you've got an opportunity to travel as well. Bridgewater has an honors program, and we call it the Flory Honors Program. You can see the requirements there. Students have to have at least a cumulative GPA of 3.8 or higher, display a strong academic curriculum, must be a residential student, and then there is an SAT or ACT component to it if the student does not apply test optional. Some of the features with the program: you get a $3,000 scholarship each year that you are a member of the Flory Honors. You have priority registration. For first year students, there's a special housing option that they may choose to do. And then you have opportunities and guidance, mentoring there for the National Fellowship application, exclusive honors, retreats, activities, and events. One of the next slides we'll talk about are endowed lectures and convocations. So we bring guest speakers to campus, and very oftentimes those presenters are on campus for a meal. And the Flory Honors students get an opportunity to sit and have a meal with them and talk with them, either pre-show or post-show as well. And then the picture here, you can see the gentleman in the blue who's wearing a sweatshirt that says Oxford University. Every 3 years, Dr. Brandon Marsh takes Flory Honors students for an Oxford experience. So for a portion of the summer, our Flory Honors students go to Oxford in England and study, and Dr. Marsh teaches a class, and then they get a class taught by, or attend a class taught by one of the Oxford professors as well, which is a really neat experience. So I sort of did a spoiler alert there and jumped ahead a slide, or referenced a slide ahead, but our endowed lectures and convocations. This is a program that has an endowment behind it. It's endowed lectures. So an alum has given us a lump of money, and we have invested it, and we get to spend the earnings off of that, or the interest off of it, and bring guest speakers to campus. Now, if you're not familiar with Bridgewater. We're not in a large metropolitan area. We're about 2 hours outside of DC, 2 hours outside of Richmond, about 4 hours outside of Charlotte. So we're in a pretty rural section in Western Virginia. But over the past couple of years, we've had some pretty big names come to campus and engage with us and our students. So last year we had Monica Lewinsky come to campus last fall, talked about social activism and cyberbullying and what that looks like. Captain Mark Kelly came to campus the year before that and talked about his experience as an astronaut and being the husband of a senator. Dr. Bennett Amalu came to campus. He is the doctor that discovered the CTE, the brain trauma and concussions, most likely or frequently associated with football players. He's also the subject of the film Concussion that Will Smith portrayed him in that movie. And then one of the most popular ones we've had is Jerry Greenfield. He is the Jerry of Ben and Jerry's. And he was particularly popular because he brought 2,000 cups of ice cream for students to enjoy while they were on campus and during his session. All these presenters came to campus and spent time ahead with our students and spent time afterwards as well, talking with them and engaging with them in conversations. So if you were to find Bridgewater on a map of Virginia, and if you drew a 10-mile radius around us, there's approximately 30,000 college students here. So we are 10 miles south of Harrisonburg, and Harrisonburg is a city of about 50 to 60,000 people. It's really a diverse community as well. There's over 55 different languages spoken in the Harrisonburg city school system. So it's really a diverse area. But the Harrisonburg economy with 30,000 college students is really focused on the college students with the college students in mind. So there's every eatery you can think of, shopping areas, a downtown area that's got an art side to it, a nightlife side to it, and a historical side to it. To the east and to the west, we are bordered with national and state forest. So if you enjoy outdoor recreation opportunities, hiking, fishing, spelunking, canoeing, kayaking, mountain bike riding, those sorts of things, you have all those opportunities still in the area. The town of Bridgewater, as you can see, it's small, 6,000 people, is consistently ranked #1 or #2 safest town in the state of Virginia by Crime Stoppers. There are 4 parks all within walking distance of campus. Students also have reduced fee access to a par 3 golf course, mini golf or putt-putt in the winter months. There's an ice skating rink that opens up in the center of town, and then the Sipe Center is a recent addition by the town that shows, it's a theater, so it has opportunity to show different movies, live performances as well, that students have reduced access or reduced fee access to, which is nice. There's a good town and gown relationship. So very oftentimes you will see community members on campus with us, and not just walking through campus, but actually engaging in campus activities. So the announced lectures that we talked about just a moment ago, very oftentimes you'll have community members at those. And very often you'll see our students in town as well, not just walking or going to the park, but engaging in the shops and going to the restaurants and different things like that. We are a residential school, so students are guaranteed housing all 4 years and required to live on campus all 4 years with us. We have 7 different residence halls. We have cottages. Cottages are houses on the perimeter of campus that are set up like an apartment. So each cottage holds anywhere from 8 to 12 students, just depending on which one you're looking at. The Wampler Towers is a 192 bed apartment complex. Those apartments have 4 bedrooms or hold 4 students in them. Stone Village are similar to the Wamplers, but it's a house, and each house has 4 or 6 person apartments in them, and each house either has 2 or 4 apartments in them. And then the Crimson Inn is a hotel that the college owns. It's located on Main Street in Bridgewater, which is about 4 blocks off of campus. So you have a variety of options there, not just a traditional residence hall with community style bath. It might be an understatement to say that Bridgewater has an active campus and active student body. So there's over 60 different clubs and organizations for students to be involved in, and they are student clubs and organizations. So they're different social groups, intellectual groups, religious groups, ethnic groups, all focused around the students and what they want to do. variety of different honor societies and fraternities, sororities recognized based off of leadership or service or academic fraternities, sororities. We have no social Greek life on campus, and then a variety of different music ensembles, both vocal and instrumental. You would be hard pressed to find a student on campus if you were to walk across campus today and say, hey, tell me about yourself, that the only thing they said is, I'm a student at Bridgewater. There's so much going on. It's almost to the detriment of the students that they get over-involved on campus. Campus recreation. So if you want to be active, physically active, but not play a NCAA sport, you've got an opportunity to do that through a variety of ways. So the Funk House Center, we have a facility dedicated to the general student population and for a place where they can go and work out. So within the Funk House Center, there's 30 different intramural sports, and they range from everything from less active things like chess, ping pong, pool, to more active sports. You can see here this group is flag football to 5-on-5 basketball, knocker ball, that's soccer inside of one of those bubbles you see, people running around and playing. And then we also do what we call battleship. So it is life, real life or live battleship. So we take our pool and you get a team of 5 other students or 5 total students, and you're in a canoe, literally trying to sink the canoe of the other team. And it's a round robin, winner take all tournament. Also through the Funk House Center, you've got an opportunity for outdoor programs. So the college sponsors different trips through the local forest, state and national. And then there's group workout facilities or classes and individual workout opportunities as well. About 30% of our student body participates in a varsity level sport. So you see here we are Division III. We are part of the ODAC, and that stands for the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Our conference is mainly made up of schools in Virginia. The only out-of-state school in the conference is Guilford College. So largely you will be traveling in the state. That's how I found Bridgewater. So I was recruited by the football team. It's very active. With 30% of the student body participating, there's a lot of student support for athletics, and it is a big identifier to who we are. Dining. So you're going to live here on campus. We're going to feed you as well. Our dining experience, or our dining hall, has unlimited swipes right now. So literally the facility opens at 7 a.m., closes at midnight, and students are able to come and go as frequently throughout the day as they would like. So you may walk in 7 different times during the day, and that's okay. But what really makes the dining hall experience good is that food is made fresh daily. So there is no bags of frozen anything coming in to the dining hall. There's no, like if you were to go in and get a piece of pizza today, that pizza, that dough was made here on campus this morning. If you were to get a cup of soup, that's broth and everything was made here today. Heck, if you went in and got broccoli that was on the line, cooked broccoli, they're cooking that broccoli. It was started off as a full crown of broccoli this morning that they washed and cut in the kitchen. Everything is small batch cooked, so things are fresh, and they try to locally source as much as possible. So within a 120-mile radius, over 80% of our food comes from that local area. So our bagels come every morning from Harrisonburg. Our milk comes over the mountain from Charlottesville. And we're in a rich agriculture area, so there are a lot of opportunities for fresh food, both produce and proteins as well. If a student has a dietary need or restriction, if they're lactose free, if they're gluten free, heck, we had one young lady on campus with us that was allergic to citrus. The chef, Big Ben, and Jordan Duncan, the general manager, they want to talk with you when you come to campus, and they want to meet you where you are in your dietary needs and restrictions. So that young lady that I just referenced that was allergic to citrus, we didn't have any citrus on campus for 4 years. There's no whole fruit. It's a mouthful this afternoon. There's no whole fruit citrus on campus. So she was in a safe environment there as well. So it's an important part for you. So likely when you first learned that Bridgewater was a private school, you probably went, oh gosh, it's expensive in comparison to a state school. And the answer is yes, we are. The 2020, 2021 cost of attendance, so tuition, room and board fees, is over $51,000. But let's just say it's 51 for even number sakes. If you remember nothing else from today, remember this. Please don't let the initial cost of attendance for school deter you from applying and being interested in that school. The right fit for you is going to look different, and those right fit requirements is going to be different from you from everyone else. Okay. So don't automatically say that a school is not the right fit for you because of an initial cost of attendance. Go through the application process, go through the financial aid process, and then come March or April of your senior year, that's when you can decide if a school is the right fit financially for you. Okay. So here you can see our out-of-state students will receive two forms of financial aid, one being institutional aid and the second being federal aid. So institutional aid can come in a variety of forms. Every admitted student is going to receive a merit scholarship. So our scholarships for the 2021-2022 academic year, so this year's high school seniors, are going to receive a scholarship ranging between $21,000 and $30,000. Okay, there are 6 tiers in there between 21 and 30. All of you students are from North Carolina, so you're going to qualify for our out-of-state incentive scholarship of $3,500. If you are a member of the Church of the Brethren, which back in 1880, when Bridgewater was founded, we were founded through the church, and we're proud of that history and heritage and legacy. We're going to award you a grant of either $2,500 or $1,500, depending if you're a residential student or not. The FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is how students qualify or receive federal assistance, federal financial aid. The FAFSA became available in October 1st, and it will, each October 1st, the next year's FAFSA becomes available. So this year's seniors, they are filling out the 2021-2022 FAFSA, and they're using the 2019, their family's 2019 tax return. If you're a high school junior, you're going to fill out the 2022-2023 FAFSA and use your family's 2020 tax return. Okay. So we have a priority deadline of March the 1st to file the FAFSA and receive federal aid. And then you can see the statistics there. 99% of students receive some form of financial aid. Average aid for a Bridgewater student is $20,000. We awarded more than $43 million in scholarships and grants last year to our Bridgewater students as well. Okay. The application process, we try to keep this really easy and simple for folks. There's enough confusion as you start looking at different schools and what school has which program and what's the right fit. We try to make sure the admissions process fits everybody because it really is that easy. So you have 2 ways to apply. You can either go to our website, bridgewater.edu, or you can submit the Common App to us. We don't have a preference on which application you submit. It's 100% up to you and what fits you. Some students are only applying, they're going to apply to Bridgewater and they're not going to apply to any other school that's on the Common App. So they will just go to bridgewater.edu and submit that application. Some students are really interested in applying to schools that are only Common App, and they're going to take that route. It's okay. We process both of them at the same rate. It's up to you. We are test optional, and what I say is a true test optional process. So every applicant has the opportunity to apply test optional. So if you have not had a chance to take the test scores, take a test because of the pandemic or some other issue, that should not deter you from applying to Bridgewater. And on the application, you should say, yes, I want to apply test optional. Maybe you don't feel like your test scores are an accurate representation of you as a student. That's okay as well. You can still apply test optional. We have an early action deadline coming up of November 15th, so just under 3 weeks away. What that early action? So a student has to apply, check yes that they want to apply early action, and then they have to send us their either high school transcript and or SAT or ACT scores, depending if they apply test optional. So anyone that applies early action by the November 15th deadline. But we're guaranteeing everyone that applies that way. By December 1st, you're going to have a admissions decision and your scholarship award as well. And we'll take it a step farther. If you apply early action, do the admissions component to it, and you file the FAFSA by November 15th, by December 1st, we're guaranteeing that you will have an admissions decision, scholarship award, and your full financial aid package as well. So it's really that easy. At a minimum, for supplemental items, we need your high school transcript. Every student has to submit that. Your high school can send it to us a variety of ways. Most common, people send it to us through parchment. We still do receive some transcripts through the mail, so snail mail, if you will. SAT, ACT scores, if a student does not apply test optional, you can self-report those test scores on the Common App or our application. We'll use that for the admissions process and for the financial aid scholarship awarding process. You also have the opportunity to submit a PDF version of your student report page. So you can log back into College Board or log back into the ACT and send us a PDF, email us a PDF copy of your student report page. Okay. So you've heard me use the word fit several times, and it really is about fit. This process of selecting the right school largely is about you. It's not about us as an institution or as a college, because you're going to be able to look back at our past and see the direction we're going. You know, for Bridgewater, we're not all of a sudden going to infuse 10,000 students on campus with us and become a large university. We're just not going to, and nobody else will either. We're not, as an institution, going to be able to pick up all of our buildings and move locations. We largely are who we are, and you have seen and feel who that is. So this process, selecting a college, it's about you. And I say it's about you because you have to find the right fit. What does that fit feel right for you? So does the school, college, university have the right academic program that you're looking at? Does it fit you socially in terms of clubs, organizations, things going on campus or in that local community? Does it fit your family? Is it the right distance from home? Is it the right size for you and your family? And then ultimately, too, is it the right fit financially? And I often tell students, look, through this process, just hit pause for a moment. And literally, you can hit pause right now and pause this video after I'm done this sentence. But hit pause and do an inventory of who you are. Think about who you are today as a 17, 18-year-old high school student. And then think about, what's a 21, 22-year-old you look like? Where's that 21, 22-year-old you want to be doing? Do you want to be in grad school? Do you want to be employed somewhere? If it is, where do you want to be living? What do you want to be doing? And I know that's hard. That's a hard question to answer for most students right now. I couldn't have answered that as a 17, 18-year-old student. But if you can get some clarity to that, then finding the right fit becomes easier, because it is about fit. It needs to be the right fit for everybody. Because if it's not the right fit, if you're not a happy student, then it becomes not quite ugly, but it's just not easy. Right? Then you're going to look to transfer, and then do all your credits transfer and that sort of piece. And there's a lot of things that go into transferring. And this is a decision. This is a big decision. And for most students, it's the biggest decision that they've made so far in their life. And it's one that I think oftentimes gets clouded. That decision judgment gets clouded because there's a lot of outside pressure and outside noise that says, oh, you need to go do this. And everyone wants to say, what are you studying? What are you going to major? What do you want to do? And for 30% of first year students, they enter college as undecided or unknown in terms of a major. And that's okay as well. So do a little inventory. Think about who you are. Think about what the future you looks like. And then hopefully finding the right fit for you is a little bit easier. I do really appreciate your time today and you joining us live, joining me here live today. And then if you're watching this recording at a later date, I appreciate you clicking in and listening to it. If there's anything me or my team can do to help you, please let us know. I'm going to share my screen again because here at the end is some contact information. You can go to bridgewater.edu and find your specific admissions counselor on the webpage. This 800 number is the toll-free number here for the office. Please reach out to us. Let us know how we can help you decide if Bridgewater is that right fit. Appreciate your time. I'm going to turn things back over now to StriveScan.
Okay, thank you so much to our presenter from Bridgewater and to all of our attendees and viewers. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now with just one last set of reminders. So again, thank you all. When this window closes, there is a quick 4-question survey, and you can sign up for more sessions at CACRAO.org, CACRAO.org. And this recording will be available at CACRAO.org, CACRAO.org in about a week. And other recordings as well will be available on that site. Thank you all again, and have a wonderful day.